Dub, did you really not sleep at all?
I mean, I slept a little bit, but yeah, I was just excited to play. Like you never know how many game sevens you're gonna get, and it's like an opportunity to be great. So I was just more excited about playing and getting the opportunity to. What was that?
It's tripping. I think it's.
Oh, I thought it was my.
There's been
something.
some leaks in. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Looks like conversation.
Leaks. Yeah. Yeah, but I was like, I think I was probably just like hyped up to play, and excited. That's really it. You know, those nights it's hard to like, kind of like go to sleep.
And Shai asked you after Game 6 kind of how you thought Dub would respond tonight. How do you think he played?
Terrible. Nah, he was amazing. Dub was a big reason for our like little stretch of the lead in the second quarter. Gave us momentum. But I said this out there after the game, like his growth as a basketball player has been obviously like you've seen it all year, but his growth mentally has been more impressive to me. He wouldn't have played the way he played today last year, and I know that 100%. And to see him take that step forward is it's a really proud moment for me. Just knowing like what he goes through on a day-to-day basis, knowing where he comes from, like that's really my brother. And to see him get better in those areas is special. It's fun, and it makes this whole experience a little bit like more special. But yeah, Dub. Other than that, Dub's like a great basketball player, and he brought his A game when we needed the most, and that's what makes you the upper echelon of this league, and the sky's the limit for Dub, as we all know.
Hope you guys can comment on just the points off turnovers return. The last couple of games, you really hadn't had that big advantage, but tonight, it's kind of like a beating frenzy. Got a lot of easy buckets tonight.
Yeah, that's when we're at our best. Starts defensively, and then we're able to play in space with the athletes and the speed that we have. But it starts defensively, and once we brought that tonight, we were able to stretch the lead out.
You want me to answer that too? Oh yeah, just that's how we play. I think I've said this earlier this year too, just like on like different things. Like our defense is not like predicated on us stealing the ball. You know what I mean? But it's just more about the approach that we have, like how competitive and how right we can be, and like how many rotations we can make. You know what I mean? Like we're like trying to be as aggressive as possible and cover up for each other. And then if that results in a turnover, great. But you know, we're just trying to like contest every shot, rebound every time, like. And you just kind of stack within our defensive like possessions, and then that's what makes us good.
This is a question for both you guys. Obviously, a lot of excitement, nerves going into this game. What did you draw on anything? Did you reach out to anyone? Did anybody give you advice on how to approach a game like this?
No, I turned my phone off, honestly.
Okay.
I just wanted to, like, as best as I could, block out all the noise. Just, like, enjoy the time. We had 2 days off for the first time in a little bit. Enjoy the time with my family. Like, I knew this moment was coming, and the nerves sat in my stomach for the 2 days, but I tried to, like, just think about it as least possible as I could. And I think I did a pretty good job handling that. Came out ready to play today.
When you say turn it off, you mean like do not disturb, and like maybe your mom can get through, or like
no social media, basically. And then if you have my number, you can have my number and text me. So yeah.
Jalen, I don't know if you can take the 20,000-foot view this close to the end of a Game 7, but just what you guys have come through to now get to this point to go to the finals. What are you proudest of just with where you guys are in this moment?
I think exactly that. Like, we are where our feet are. Like, being present in the moment, not letting, like, too many outside stuff, like, control what we're doing in the game. And I think that was most impressive with everybody. Like, no matter what was going on, like, we stuck together. And we were just kind of like uncommon in that way. Like, we even had like team dinner like after a loss. I think that just shows like how connected we've been, and we've been doing that the whole time. So we're just with each other regardless of what happens. I think that's what makes us a good team.
Shai, as you think about now where you guys are headed, only 4 teams left in these playoffs. You're the top seed, and really some of those other top seeds have gone. What does this sort of set up for you in your mind?
Nothing at all. We play a really good team in the Timberwolves, and we got to try to beat them 4 times before they beat us 4 times. And that's all I'm worried about, all our team is worried about. like Dub just said, just trying to be where our feet are in the moment, and see what's in front of us, and try to attack it, and come out on the right end of it. I think that's why we've gotten this far in the season, and we're going to continue to do so.
Dub, you guys took your first lead, 27-26. It was your lay that did it, and you got a whistle, and the crowd just goes crazy. It's one of the bigger pops of the night. Just kind of what was going through your head after the struggles you've had with this crowd just going crazy for you.
Did I get fouled?
Yeah, you missed the free throw.
Honestly, it'd be so loud in there. It's really cool to have those moments. I always try and like relish those in the game, and yeah, it's just really fun to play in there. So we have a very good fan base.
And then Daigneault.
For both of you guys, Coach talked about just the magnitude of this game before you guys came in here, talking about how he woke up this morning knowing that he'll always remember because it's a Game 7. How much of that halftime break played a part in the sense of you guys coming out and putting together that tremendous third quarter? I mean, just to take that kind of like a deep breath. It's the only time you really kind of get that brief time to all be together for that little moment. Did you think that played a part, or just things come together just in that third quarter organically?
We honestly had I think besides Game 2, we haven't been really good coming out of halftime this series. And that was on the top of everyone's mind at halftime. We wanted to make sure that we got out to a good start. We obviously built a pretty good lead. I think it was 14 going into halftime, but the type of team they are, we've seen it all series. 14 is never enough. And we knew that, and we wanted to come out and throw the first punch, we call it, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
Yeah, Shai, Mark and Caruso at different points in the series talked about how you guys were looking forward to playing the Nuggets because of how good of a team you got and how much respect you had for them. What are some of the things that you learned about this team, you guys' team, now that now that the series is over?
Learned about us?
Yeah.
Nothing I didn't already know, but we can win no matter the environment, no matter the type of game. It could be ugly, it could be pretty, it could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, it could be a lot of free throws, it could be no free throws. No matter what it is, we can find a way to win, and I think that's very important this time of year. But yeah, like I said, I already knew that about us, and we have to keep implying that going forward.
What else we got? We're gonna do two more. We got Michael, actually three more. Then you go.
Dub, going back to plus minus, we have Caruso and Kaysen coming off the bench. They have the two highest plus minus off the bench in Game 7 history. These past three games, what have they meant to you guys in sort of just closing out the series?
They've been great. They've hit big shots. They've done a lot of little stuff that people won't know about, just as far as being in the right coverage, pursuing, playing good defense. They've just been really, really solid. AC switched on to Jokic for a lot of that game too, so it's for them to answer that task and be willing to kind of do whatever speaks to what kind of players they are, and that's why they're here.
Mark said that this was your guys' best game on defense activity-wise. What do you guys think led to that?
Do or die.
Yeah, sense of urgency. We knew that if we didn't, like I said, bring our A game on the defensive end of the floor, that our season could be over, and nobody in the locker room was ready for that. We, above all, wanted to control the controllables, and defense is one of those things, being active, communicating, helping each other. You can't always control if the ball goes in on the other end of the floor, but defense you can always control, and we knew that, and that's why we were as active as we were tonight. All right,
Shai, you and Nikhil have played against each other a lot now, but just from a personal standpoint, what's it going to be like matching up with him in a conference finals?
Yeah, it'll be very fun. It's it's hard to even explain. If you know how close we are, he's literally my second brother. He's been through every stage of life with me. Picking up a basketball to going to prep school to making the NBA, we've gone through every situation together. For both of us to be where we are is special. To compete against each other is even more special. But I am trying to take his head off for sure.
Thanks.
Completely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
It wasn't just tough on Jokic to get open. It was tough on whoever was trying to pass to him too. We were pressuring, so credit to all those dudes, and then I just have to make sure that they know I have their back. If they get beat on anything, and that's what kind of gives us the ability to pressure up.
Alex, you talked earlier this series about how you were excited to play the Nuggets because they were going to make you a better team. How do you feel like you guys are better today than you were in Game 1?
Yeah, I think just our mental fortitude, even tonight we came out and, they scored kind of 4 relatively easy baskets and we missed shots early. Even then, I think, halfway through the first, we're down 10 or 11. But the whole time, I'm trying to tell the guys it's a long game, and I think they knew that at that point. And I think we understand what we're capable of when we, play at our best. So just the ability to get to that level, that elite level of defense, moving the ball, shot making, offensive rebounding, the stuff that we do great. I think, we're figuring out how to get to that quickly and stay there for a long time.
Actually, you've mentioned this a bunch this year, but you've said, the versions of yourself, versions of this team, maybe like tonight, but when you play like tonight, you could be the best team in the world. I just wonder, from what you saw tonight, is this close to the vision you've had year-round, and I guess what does that take to sort of tap into in a Game 7?
Yeah, I mean, when we play how we did tonight, and it wasn't perfect, but we had, a large majority of the game where we were kind of in control as far as assignments, our physicality, our pressure on the ball, finishing possessions, getting out in transition, sharing the ball. That's the stuff. Like, we have so much talent on the team. When we do those things, that just kind of doubles down on how special we can be. And you see it with a couple games this postseason where we're winning games by large margins because we're just trying to be ruthless and get to that. And part of that in Game 7 is Mark did a good job of telling us, just like, you don't have to do anything special. You just have to be who you are. We won 60-something games for a reason. We're in the second round in Game 7 for a reason. We're a good team. Everybody on this team does whatever they do really well. Just do that. And I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
And so when Mark tells you that you're going to be defending Jokic as often as you are tonight, what do you think, and sort of what does that take to do that effectively?
It's a lot of hard work, obviously. He's a phenomenal player. His resume speaks for itself, but he's a difficult matchup because he just does so many different things to get others involved and to influence the game. So for me, it's just about competing. Like, there's nothing to save it for. It's Game 7, right? So you either are going to the next round or your summer started. So for me, it was just about being relentless with my energy, the effort to make it tough on him. And obviously the guys around me did a good job of helping and swarming that because I'm not doing that on my own. But just making stuff tough on him, understanding how the game was going to be called, understanding the flow of the game, where you can be physical, where you can't, and just trying to make him work for stuff.
This is for AC. Just how important has this process been of you obviously being embraced in Oklahoma City and the team culture, and them also allowing you to be the kind of player you are defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty fluid just because I'm allowed to just be myself. And, that's kind of where I thrive, is just allowed to go out there and play my game, which has got me to this point and is the reason that I think they made the trade for me last summer. Was they recognized the stuff that I was good at and the things that helped elevate the players around me and the team, and they encouraged me to do that. And obviously the guys on the team are great people, great teammates. It makes it really easy because they have a lot of belief and trust in me too.
Over to your right, AC. You kind of going off of that with the veteran leadership. When you think about your rookie season up until now, how do you feel like your voice has expanded as a player?
A lot of that is just learning and growing and observing stuff around me. I've been fortunate enough to play with Hall of Famers, been coached by Hall of Famers. The elite of the elite, mental, vocal, in between the lines of the game kind of stuff. And, I've just been stealing stuff from other people and honing it and working on it. now trying to pass it on to the rest of the guys, and I think that they've done a good job of that. I think our communication level, our sense of urgency, our ability to dissect and move forward is a lot better than it was, I think, when I first got here. And that's the key, is using that stuff that I've learned from other people and passing it on to the others and elevating the team.
This is a question just for both you guys. When Shai and Dub were in here, they said that both of them said, Dub said he didn't really sleep that much. He was excited to play. Shai said he was nervous before this game. Like, what did both of you feel before going into this Game 7, and how'd you get through that initial nerves in the first quarter?
Let me go first.
You got it.
Yeah, I think, if you don't feel anything leading up to it, you're probably like a serial killer. You need to be checked out. I was a little anxious, but not in a sense of winning or losing, but in a sense of I was ready to play, and I was ready to get to the game. There was nothing else to do. We played each other 6 times. We knew what they were going to do. They knew what we were going to do. It's about going out there and competing and playing. So, no, I got a full 9.5 hours last night. I slept really good, woke up, watched some of the PGA Championship, and was just ready to get to the game and play because we had been off for 2 days.
Yeah, same here. I got my sleep last night. Also, it just kind of understood what's on the line, and there was a lot of excitement. I'd say a little bit of angst, just kind of the whole process of leading up to play. It takes a while. You get here 3.5, 4 hours before the game. So just kind of tried to do everything as I would for any other game, prep the same way, but also understand what's on the line. So like AC said earlier, not leave anything in the tank, because there's no point in saving it for summer. So just tried to go out there, do everything I could, and leave it all out there. And, I knew every other guy who touched the floor tonight was going to do the same. So I feel like I've played enough games now where I kind of know what to expect now, and a lot of the pregame jitters or whatever are kind of I'm outgrowing them, I guess.
Both guys, all series long, everybody's been waiting for the Nuggets to wear down, and obviously they held it together pretty well. But could you sense at any point during this game, maybe the run at the end of the second quarter, when maybe you started to sense they were getting a little fatigued?
I wouldn't say until they pulled their guys. I wasn't really trying to sense that. I was more just kind of focused on we can't let up even an ounce. We just got to run through the finish line on this one.
Yeah, I think they are. Their leaders are elite competitors, so the rest of the team follows, and they always have that mindset. And I just think talk about wearing out through the series, but I think that our pressure and our energy, maybe not as much through the series, but through the games that we won was the difference. The games that we ended up winning were games that we had, high intensity, full throttle pressure, finishing possessions, physicality on defense, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
Chet, as someone who's spent a lot of time guarding Jokic, I just want to get your perspective and evaluation of what AC was able to do this series and especially today.
Yeah, obviously extremely impressive. He's somebody who's kind of been through the ringer, and he's seen every type of player that there is out there. And you played against him in the playoffs before too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's been there. He's seen it. He knows what type of player Jokic is, and he did a great job of kind of playing to his advantages. That's what he does. No matter who he's guarding, he knows what his advantages are, and then he kind of plays to that. So, he was scrappy. He was using his speed and his pace to kind of keep Jokic kind of from feeling comfortable and knowing where he was and stuff. So credit to him. He's a game changer. Without him, the game looks completely different.
Chet, you have a chance now to play meaningful basketball in your hometown. What would that moment be like for you?
Man, it's amazing. Growing up, Minnesota was never in the playoffs, so I never really that atmosphere was never there in the city. So I'm sure it's insane right now. But it'll be great to be able to play. Anytime I go home and play, it's great to be able to play in front of friends, family, old coaches, old teammates. I never take it for granted, and it's definitely kind of full circle. I was just on NBA TV before this, and they asked me about it, and I told them my first game was supposed to be in Minnesota, but then I got hurt, so it kind of makes it feel all worth it, grinding back to it, and now we're here. So it's going to be a challenge. They're a good team, but we're looking forward to it.
Alex, lots been made that you're the old guy on the team, but not once but twice you went up there and punched it down. One time cocking it back two-handed. Was it the adrenaline of the crowd? Like, what was the necessity of getting there and throwing it down like that?
Left on those knees.
Yeah, no, I just saved those for the games that matter. I wasted a couple earlier in the year, and I had to remind myself, like game 45, 50, when I was getting a little tired. I was like, all right, we save them for when they matter.
And then, Chet, whenever you see Alex Caruso getting up there and doing that stuff, what does that do with the rest of the team when you see,
Honestly,
quote-unquote, the old man?
sometimes I get scared because there was a couple times in the season where he kind of blew a tire on the way up and kind of just shoots a layup without even leaving the ground. So, I'm always hoping for the best, and tonight we saw the best. So credit to him.
Keep him up.
Chet, you introduced Shai as the MVP in the post-game interview. I know the league has sort of dragged its feet with announcing the award, but sort of how
they announced it.
They have not announced it. No. How gratifying maybe is it for him to have this sort of series against the other guy?
The type of guy that Shai is, he was more worried about winning the series and doing it with the team. He enjoys playing with us. We enjoy playing with him, and he's not somebody who really gets wrapped up in the stuff that's not about winning. The narratives and all that. If you go out there and do what you need to do to win the game, all that stuff, take care of itself. And I can't speak for him or where his mind was at on that, but that's what I saw from him and how he approached things. So credit to him for really sticking in there with us and being about all the right things throughout this.
Anybody else? Okay, last
Alex,
one.
it's been a while since you played in this kind of atmosphere. Well, how much fun is this when people start? It's one thing for your teammates to appreciate, but the fans appreciate the work you're doing on the floor. Rocking.
Yeah, I love this place, man. They yell. I told people after Game 5 here, I think it's the loudest basketball arena I've ever been in. That moment after we hit the second three and then get the defensive rebound, go up 6, and Shai gets fouled, and then this place was like deafening how loud it was. And I think it's just a testament to how much the community cares, how much this city cares about basketball and this team. And I think it's reciprocated. Like we play with a ton of energy and excuse me. We play with a ton of energy and a ton of effort and leave it all out there. And I think that they're excited to do their part and cheer us on. And that's the biggest thing I think in sports is like fans want to see effort. They want to see you play with energy. They want to see you play hard and compete. And I think that this team embodies that. And I think that that's easy to get behind. And they do a great job of supporting us. It's been a lot of fun to see in the playoffs. Yeah.
Shout out to our fans.
Shout out.
Thanks, guys. That's right.
So off the top, I want to acknowledge Denver. They displayed the mettle of a champion. Obviously, they've won championships, the core guys, and they displayed that in the series. I mean, the way that the run to this point and the run they gave us was impressive. They're a bunch of zombies, and we have the ultimate respect for their team. And we're better now than we were at the beginning of the series, and it's because of them. They pushed us to the limit, and we just have such respect for all the guys in that locker room and their staff and their organization. I just wanted to hit that off the top.
Mark, the swarming, compounding nature of your defense to be disruptive has been kind of a major storyline all season. Would it seem like to you to be able to summon that and have it be such a factor here today?
Yeah, I thought our pressure today was a difference maker in the game, and we accessed that at different times in the series, but today we did it most consistently for the 48 minutes, and we didn't even play a perfect game on offense. But it was just such a catalyst for us. The pressure, the deflections, the turnovers, and even when they got shots, I thought the pressure and the help really disrupted the rhythm of those shots, and the guys just did a great job of sifting through all the noise of a Game 7 and just focusing on what we needed to do to win, and we really executed it.
Mark, we talked yesterday just about being this late in the series, not having many tricks left, and it coming mostly down to execution. But I don't remember AC defending Jokic one-on-one as much as he did in any of the games of the series as he did today. Just what sort of led you to stick with that today, and what you hope to see from it?
Well, the volume of it today was a result of how effective it was. But looking at it was a priority going into today, and he did an unbelievable job, individually. And then, if you're putting a 6'5" guard on a player like that, you need relentless help and relentless pressure on the entry passes, and it all works together. So he had an amazing effort individually, but that truly, when you're going to expose yourself like that, truly is a team defense to make that effective, and the guys, executed the hell out of that.
I couldn't make out what you were saying when that last group checked out right before AJ and those guys, but you put your finger in their chest, and one by one they kind of went to the bench.
Yeah, just acknowledging those guys. I thought they just gave a great effort. They're so easy to bet on. We're not perfect, but they're just so easy to bet on. They're great competitors. They do things the right way. They're professional. They're inside the team. Guys sacrifice. Everybody sacrifices for the team, and you want them to get these sorts of things because they deserve them, and not everybody always gets what they deserve, but this team deserves these types of opportunities, and I was just really happy for those guys.
8-man rotation for the majority of the night. You guys used quick rest for guys. Was that the plan, and then how much did that help you guys in this situation?
It really wasn't the plan. Jay Will and Isaiah Joe were live. There were situations I would have gone to them. I think the effectiveness of what we were doing was the reason why I drifted away from that and cut it to 8. You play every other day in the playoffs. We have a lot of good players that we believe in, and so we're going to need the depth of the team. But obviously, in a Game 7, you got to empty the tank, and that's what we did. But those guys done a great job of staying ready. We're going to need everybody as we move forward here against Minnesota.
With that, not many rotations, but guys were giving their all. 15 offensive rebounds tonight, diving on the floor, a lot of deflections. What do you think about the effort despite not having much rest tonight?
It was our best energy game and activity game. They drummed it up, for Game 7, and I just give them a lot of credit. Game 7s are there's not many games you wake up in the morning and that you're going to remember the game for the rest of your life, and Game 7's one of them. And to be able to focus through. It's really a distraction. It distracts you from the fact that it's still a basketball game. To be able to focus through that and perform the way these guys did today was very impressive.
Case and Wallace and Caruso both kind of came in late in the first quarter, kind of got you going into the second quarter. Did you know that they would give you that kind of boost, or is it just a normal rotation to get those guys in?
It's normal, but they've made such a habit of that it's to this point, it's surprising when they don't. It's the pressure, the intensity, the competitiveness, and their team guys. They go in there. Denver played a lot of zone in this series. Those guys move the ball. They get into gaps. They're looking to activate their teammates, which is critical against man or zone, but certainly against zone. And so they've done that all season, but they were incredible today.
Your points off turnovers the last couple of games have been either even. I think they were even last game, and you only won by 3. And that's always been a big deal for you. Today it was back to, you have 37-7 back in your favor.
Yeah, 7 games is a long time. You're not going to play optimal basketball over the course of 7 games. It's hard to hold that level when the opponent is doing everything they can to make you completely uncomfortable. And I just thought, this wasn't our cleanest series. I didn't think we played our best. But I do think this series really tested our resolve. We went down 1-0. We went down 2-1. After those 3 games, we had led 123 minutes to their 17, and we were down 2-1 at that point. And it's hard mentally to get yourself to 0 and go win Game 4, win Game 5, and then same thing today. we're tied 3-3. We had doubled up the amount of minutes that we had led in the series, and yet we were tied 3-3. And these guys just keep coming. It's really incredible fortitude, and I thought it really showed the character of the team and the character of the guys, and we're going to need that resolve, as we move forward here.
Mark, you talked about the noise of a Game 7, and obviously you've got a couple guys that had experienced a Game 7, but with a bunch that largely hadn't. What'd you like most about just the way that they handled just the difference that a Game 7 is?
Just that we were who we are. That's the biggest thing. That's enough with this team. I mean, if we just bet on who we are individually and collectively, we're a really hard team to beat. And I just thought we stayed in character. We got off to a rough start. We didn't panic. We just played the 48, and we tapped into who we are. And that's the thing that I'm most satisfied with. Is I would hate to play a Game 7 like this, an elimination game, and leave anything on the table. You can live with the result and when you are who you are, and that's what we did today.
Jada really bounced back in the scoring department today. What did you see from him?
Great force, especially early. It was definitely a conscious effort by him to use his speed and his power, and he was on the gas from the jump tonight. He was incredible. And you talk about bouncing back. It's like no player in the playoffs in this competitive a series plays great every night. Like Jokic is as good as anybody. Obviously, he didn't play great every night in the series. It's hard, And Dub, I think because he's in his third year, takes a little bit more flack for that. But it's hard to perform in a playoff game, in a 7-game series this competitive every night. But he rises up every time. He did it last year in the Dallas series. Game 6 was his best game after some struggles, and tonight was his best game after some struggles as well.
Concerning Dub, I think he had 12 points in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter. You were playing pretty well at that point, but that really put the game way ahead. How important was that stretch? The last 3 minutes of the half.
Yeah, it was a critical stretch. I thought the stretch that won us the game was when we went down early. They were making some shots. We were missing some shots. We seemed a little frantic. We seemed like we were just, tiptoeing into the game a little bit from a confidence standpoint. And I thought the maturity of the team to understand the length of the game, it's just like, let's settle into this thing, was a huge thing. Because, we went down 11 or whatever, and if that balloons to 20, it becomes a very hard game to manage from that point. So I just thought that was the stretch that won it for us, but the separation stretch was that in the second quarter.
Hi, if I can ask 2 questions. One, just what did you make of David Adelman coaching against him in this series? And it was a lot of adjustments on both sides, and he's obviously doing this on an interim basis.
Yeah, I just told him on the court how much respect I have for him after having competed against him in this series. He's a pretty seasoned guy, to be put in a very, very challenging situation. It's a credit to their players, first and foremost, but a credit to their staff for that type of disruption that late in the season. He was thrust into a very challenging leadership position and handled it very well. And I think what stood out, that wasn't all smooth. They lost some games in the regular season. They lost, they got blown out in one of the games in the Clipper series. They got blown out here in Game 2. And that team kept competing and stayed together through all the ups and downs of their experiences, which is, first of all, a testament to their, championship mindset, but also a testament to the relationships that he must have built over a long time with those guys. Like, they really, had his back. And so I was just very, very impressed with him from a distance. I don't know him at all, but I have the utmost respect after having competed against him.
And just a quick follow, totally different subject, but you were with the Blue the last time the Thunder was in the Western Conference Finals. Did you get to be around the team that much during that run? And if so, what did you learn about what comes next here?
Yeah, I was this guy. I was. It's hard to keep a straight face with that guy. I was around the team. This has always been an organization that's had great synergy with those entry-level spots. A lot of the people that work here now went through the Blue, and all of our Blue staff's here now. So, but to start over, basically, huge shout out to Sam, for his vision for this, to start over and to get back to this type of level. is incredibly impressive. It's an organizational accomplishment. You know, there's a lot of invisible people behind the scenes that are part of that, and I just want to make sure I acknowledge them. Obviously, we have more opportunities in front of us, but this is a great accomplishment for a lot of people that have been here a long time.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
We got players coming in next.